We have made it to another Friday, and we're gonna make it a good Friday. We got Distracted Garden in the building. Hello. We have made it to yet another Friday. And what's the temp out here? What is the temp? No, it's a little cool. It's not freezing cold, but it's a little cool. What is it? Sunny outside. It's 54 degrees and sunny, which not terrible, not bad, not terrible at all. It's pretty nice. We got Mara, we got Fritz in the building. Hello. And we got a couple of things to go over. I'm sure that you saw Sam Bankman-Fried has been found guilty. I mean, and the thing about him that just continues to be hilarious to me, well, hilarious, crazy, outlandish, whatever word that you want to use, you know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, you really could have gotten away with a lot of what you were doing if only you hadn't done so much of it. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I'm glad that you liking the jams. It's definitely always, I feel like house music is just like a perfect fit for this stream. Not only is house music a good fit for this stream, but it's also the least likely rather, to be hounded by the YouTube algorithm because there aren't any words. You know what I'm saying? So, we got Hassan Thomas. Thank you, my brother, for becoming a member. First thing, you come in on Friday and become a member. Thank you so much. And thank you to all the other members. And I've had over the last week, I've had several phone calls with people to get this nonprofit together. So this weekend, when I send out the newsletter, I'll have a lot more information about what we'll do next. And then next weekend, we'll have another meeting so we can keep everything going forward, because I got information on how much things are going to cost for like the web platforms that we want to make to help people have access to who they're voting for, stuff like that. Along with everything else, you know what I'm saying? So I've got a lot of new information, and I will send that out to y'all this weekend. So we are moving forward. Now, today we are smoking out of this one. We smoking out of this one today because I'm running out of weed. And the bong, it takes too much weed from me. So now we got to start conserving, you know what I'm saying? Because I got my speed, but I also need my weed, you know what I'm saying? Because they do different things. The speed brings you up and the weed brings you down, but not a nice, smooth, calm, you feel me? So we can't waste it. Let's go ahead and take this hit and then get into it today. We're going to start off with Sam Bankman-Fried and then get into everything else. A nice smooth hit from the piece. This piece right here actually is one of my most expensive pieces. I have pipes, man. I got this long, it's called a steamroller. The steam, they got these thing called steamrollers that's like just like a tube basically, and I got one that's like yay big, and it was like almost $100 cheaper than this. This is a really nice piece though, but pricing be arbitrary, man. Pricing be arbitrary. Let's go ahead and get. Oh, we got Allegra in the building. Hello, Allegra. All right, let's see what's up now. Sam Bankman-Fried found guilty in FTX fraud case. Absolutely no surprise. Let's get down into it. He was found guilty yesterday on all 7 charges against him, including fraud on FTX customers and investors, fraud on Alameda's lenders, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Excuse me. SBF, one of the most high-profile names in crypto, has been convicted in one of the biggest financial frauds in American history. And think about how quickly he rose to the top, man. I mean, look, sometimes things blow up quickly. But look, listen, man, when something blows up really quickly, you wanna tread waters lightly because there's a few reasons. One, it could be a complete and total scam and fraud, like Sam Bankman-Fried, because things typically just don't explode like that. But also, um, because when you blow up really quickly, you don't really have your foundation laid. And it takes what really takes a long time to develop is your foundation, your reputation, people really recognizing what exactly it is that you do and how you do it. So and your foundation is important because you need to be able um to address issues when they happen because problems happen. Some months or some years, you're not going to make as much money as other months and years. And you got to restructure things. Sometimes you got to fire people. You got to hire people. There's so many things you need to do, none of which really can happen without a foundation, which is why, if anything skyrockets too quickly, you want to look out for either fraud or uh, how thorough is your infrastructure? Because infrastructure just takes a long. Yeah, that's exactly it. He ripped off rich people. That's what his problem was. That's why I said he didn't even need to be in this position if he would have just slowed his roll a little bit. But I guess if he wasn't as greedy as he was, then he wouldn't have gotten that big. So, it's a double-edged sword. Okay, so 8 billion. Where's the mouse? Here it is. $8 billion in customer deposit. Bro, this dude just $8 billion just missing because he was using, bro, FTX was just like a front to fund his hedge fund. That's what he was using it for. The blowup of FTX and its sister hedge fund Alameda Research, both now in bankruptcy, was so messy. It's been compared to Enron. Attorneys for SBF said in a statement to media that Bankman Fried maintains his innocence and will continue to vigorously fight the charges against him. Okay. Sam Bankman Fried thought that he was above the law. Sam Bankman thought a lot of things, or rather, I think it may be more appropriate to say that Sam Bankman didn't think about a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Okay, where we at? Today's verdict proves he was wrong. This case should send a clear message to anyone who tries to hide their crimes behind a shiny new thing they claim. No one else is smart enough. Uh, my bad. I was reading something that just came through to my phone. The Justice Department will hold you accountable. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams said in a statement, this kind of fraud, this kind of corruption is as old as time. We have no patience for it. You ripped off the rich people and you got to pay the price for it, man. That's what happened. Thou shalt not steal from the rich. Exactly. The big picture. The U.S. government presented a solid case against SBF, linking the testimonies of key insiders and company documents to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that his actions while leading the two firms were criminal and not simply negligent. Yeah, oh, I just accidentally misplaced billions and billions of dollars. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. we forgive you, bro. It's okay. And he had because he didn't know he had a lot of it wasn't just rich people, he had famous rich people that he ripped off. So, he was gonna go down. He was always gonna go down when he crossed that line. The US government, okay, we just read that. The jury took less than 5 hours to reach their verdict. Because what is there to debate? The government presented tearful testimony from Caroline Ellison, the former CEO of Alameda. There was the remorseful one from Nisad Singh, former director of engineering, and more from FTX co-founder Gary Wang. Expert witness testimonies. The defense likely suffered from SBF's own testimony because you remember too before the trial started. remember before the trial started, he was going on that media tour where he just couldn't stay off of TV. Oh, hold up. We got Mystery Moon became a member. Soul Life, brother. Soul Life just gifted the membership. Thank you so much for gifting the membership. And thank you everybody for becoming a member. Again, we are in the process of putting together a nonprofit organization. I'm gonna send out a newsletter over the weekend because I've been putting everything together, how much stuff's gonna cost, where we're gonna do this, XYZ, all of that. So we are working, we are moving. Thank you, everybody, for just supporting me in any way that you can, man. It really means a lot. It really does. And he's he's facing like 100 and something years. Look, however long he gets sentenced, what's clear is that the dude is just not. He's gonna be in jail for the rest of his life. I mean, what's the point? What's the point of letting him out, really? I mean, seriously. Now, what should we do next? Let's go on to DeSancti. We're gonna go on to DeSancti. Watch this clip, you know what I'm saying? And then we got Andrew Conclusions. Hello. Now we're going to check this out. DeSantis pledges to wear a boot on my head if Donald Trump can summon the balls to debate. Well, that won't happen because there's no need for him to go.
Can we do this? Can we get this off the table first? I've been watching over the last, I don't know, maybe 10 days or so. And there are these gotcha people, these people who just want to sit there and they want to talk about how tall you are, whether you're wearing boots with what do they call it? Heel extenders inside. I mean, Governor, the southern border is a disaster. Terrorists are coming across the border. We got 2 wars that we're kind of funding, and they want to talk about how tall you are. Sir, respond, please.
Well, yeah, look, Eric, this is no time for foot fetishes. We've got serious problems as a country.
That was one of the only. That's the best joke I've ever heard Ron DeSantis crack. Literally the best joke. We have no time for foot fetishes. That actually was a pretty good line. If only he had. Look, no, I'm telling y'all, bro. If he had this, it would have helped him out a lot. It wouldn't necessarily have brought him over the finish line, but it definitely would have helped out. But that was a nice rebuttal. I wonder where he is though, because he's speaking straight through these headphones.
Respond, please.
Well, yeah, look, Eric, this is no time for foot fetishes. We've got serious problems as a country. We've got war in the Middle East. We've got terrorists coming across our own southern border. We have an American dream that's out of reach for millions of Americans because of the Bidenflation and the high energy prices. We've got schools that are indoctrinating kids, not educating kids, and we've got cities that are being overrun by crime. And I know people want to try to divert onto other issues. I know Donald Trump and a lot of his people have been focusing on things like footwear. I'll tell you this. If Donald Trump can summon the balls to show up to the debate, I'll wear a boot on my head. This is a time for substance. This is a time for us to debate the issues that matter to the American people. And the question is, are you able to fight for them, which we have done in Florida? Are you able to win those fights, which we have been able to do in Florida? And are you able to lead to a better tomorrow? We've done that in Florida, and we'll do that for the United States of America.
Okay, Ron. Okay, Ron. No, but that actually was like that actually was a pretty funny little comeback. Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like it's like a knee slap or anything, but not bad. Okay, now hold on. Now, what should we go to now? We got Eric Adams. The feds is investigating Eric Adams. Uh-oh. Yeah, man, Eric Adams, he is just a weird dude, man. He is so strange. Every time you see Eric Adams, look, who was it who said this? Who was it? I think it was y'all know Farron Cousins. He's an attorney. He's bald head. He's from Florida. He did stuff with TYT for a while. But he has his own channel. But I think it's Fair and Balanced, I think. But I think I think it was him. It was either him or David Pakman. One of them said, if a governor is being spoken about a lot, it's probably not for a good reason. And that's kind of true. And every time you see Eric Adams, it's always him doing something weird, whether it be him yelling at his elders, telling his elders to respect him. he told this 80-something-year-old housing activist to shut up and show some respect because she brought up the reality that the rent is too damn high. Motherfuckers can't afford, they monthly bills. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just a weird dude. So matter of fact, let's go ahead and check this out now since we're talking about him. Since we are talking about Eric Adams, let's go ahead and just dive into the story. Feds investigating if Mayor Eric Adams' campaign received illegal donations.
Mayor Eric Adams says he will fully cooperate with the federal agents who raided the home of the chief fundraiser for his 2021 campaign. Now, the feds are looking into any possible illegal donations funneled into the campaign. And while the mayor is not accused of any wrongdoing, the raid did prompt him to suddenly cancel his trip to Washington, D.C. and return to New York City. Eyewitness News reporter Tom Negerman live near City Hall with the very latest. Tom.
Right, David, what the feds want to know is whether a Williamsburg construction company and a group of Turkish nationals may have made improper donations to the mayor's campaign in 2021. The mayor, for his part, on behalf of his entire team, promising complete transparency.
It is my responsibility to hold myself to a high standard, and I will comply with any inquiry that's made, and I am demanding that our team do the same.
FBI agents executed a search warrant at the Crown Heights home of 25-year-old Brianna Suggs, a campaign consultant and top Democratic fundraiser, described as someone with extremely close ties to the mayor's inner circle, who's had a very rapid rise professionally. The construction company, KSK Construction Group, apparently donated about $14,000 to the mayor's 2021 campaign, while law enforcement.
Sign, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Oh, I can't look, brother. You said he turned you off with his stance on semi trucks. Look, listen, I can't remember exactly what it is that turned me off from him, but it's many things that he's done. It's things that he does all the time. But I think that when he was yelling at that old woman, I think that wasn't like the final straw for me. It was just like, that was like, what is wrong? What is up with this dude? But I mean, there's just too much stuff to count. But thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. And thank you for becoming a member this morning.
Enforcement has been investigating KSK. An FBI official tells Eyewitness News they did not execute a warrant at its offices yesterday, just at the home of Ms. Suggs. She was there at the time, was not arrested, but we are told may be called at some point to testify before a grand jury.
There may have been a straw donor arrangement where somebody is paying money, but it looks as if somebody else is actually making the campaign contribution. It's entirely plausible if this happened, and again, we don't know that it did, but if this happened, that it happened on behalf of the mayor, but without the mayor's knowledge, in which case he would be legally uninvolved.
At this point, that's just what the mayor appears to be. He has not been accused of any wrongdoing and promises complete cooperation with investigators, addressing this with reporters for the first time last night.
I hold my campaign to the highest ethical standards. Any inquiry that is done, we're going to fully participate and make sure
my man's got meat in the fridge. Yeah, nah, Eric, I don't really suspect that he's gonna win re-election. I mean, I don't know, but he kind of came about at the perfect time for him to win. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't think New York's gonna re-elect him. You said somebody dog farted on the damage report? Who hosting the damage report today? Oh man, it's just so what we got. What should we do now? And let's see what's up with this. They were running the company. Maggie Haberman breaks down Trump brothers' uncomfortable fraud trial appearance.
Donald Trump's two adult sons.
Trump called Maggie. He called her maggot. He called her maggot Haberman. Like, bro, this like, oh my God, bro. He's just everyone. He has insulted everyone. It's just funny, man. Because then he be asking them for help.
Sat for hours inside of a courtroom. Both Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump, as you can see here, took the stand. They are both accused, along with their father, of falsely inflating the value of company properties. And while the former president has been on a social media barrage, not necessarily new, claiming, among other things, that his adult children are being persecuted, it is important to remember who it was, of course, that made a point of putting them in charge of the company just days before he was inaugurated.
My two sons, who are right here, Don and Eric, are going to be running the company. They are going to be running it in a very professional manner.
I'm joined now by Maggie Haberman, CNN political analyst and senior political correspondent for the New York Times. We'll talk about the Ivanka development in a moment. But I mean, just that moment there, I was thinking about it all day today as I was seeing Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. in court. I mean, that was almost 7 years ago, which is kind of hard to believe. And as they are on the stand talking about their roles, can you just walk everyone through what their roles, I mean, their whole career has kind of been defined by the Trump organization.
Yeah, and before Trump had put them in charge, he was grooming his children, including Ivanka Trump, to take over this company. That had been going on for several years. They were trustees of the company. That was the official title. I think they had some kind of vice presidential title as well prior to that, and I think after that. But basically, they were running the company. I will say, in reality, according to everyone I have ever spoken with, Don Jr. was far less involved in the day-to-day than his brother Eric. Eric really became the person who was running the company. And I think, Caitlin, that was reflected in part in how much more combative Eric Trump's testimony was in court today.
You know what, Twin Dragon? But see, what's funny about what you just said is that that has literally been Donald Trump's defense for as long as I can think of, is that, oh, he's just a dumb guy. He didn't know. He didn't know that this was illegal. He didn't know that he wasn't supposed to do X, Y, and Z. He's just stupid. Just cut him a break. Cut him some slack.
Today, Don Jr.'s was relatively less so.
Yeah, I mean, it got increasingly combative over emails, even dating back to 2010, when he was saying, I wasn't involved in that. And then she, the attorney general says that essentially that they provided these false valuations of even the family's estate. I mean, she noted at one point that Donald Trump Jr. had personally certified the financial statements, but they were saying, well, I was just doing this. It was based on the valuations of others, not necessarily me.
Right. And there was an effort to distance themselves from.
I don't know. I don't know who's responsible for anything. I can't recall. I don't really, I know I'm in a position to run the company, but I don't really know what's going on inside of it.
Things that they signed or from decisions that were made. And we have seen that over and over. And that's also something we've seen Donald Trump do about his own company, something we saw him do in his presidency. I was acting on advice of whomever. I suspect you will see that in his upcoming trial on charges of trying to overturn the election results in 2020. Advice of counsel.
Why they do that with the
that
camera?
in his upcoming trial on charges of trying to Trump do about his own company, something we saw him do in his presidency. I was acting on advice of whomever. I suspect you will see that in his upcoming trial on charges of trying to overturn the election results in 2020. Advice of counsel. It is often that someone else was making these decisions.
That's always rich people's well, I don't know about always, but that's often their argument. I'm just dumb. Yesterday I was the most brilliant man ever who you should just listen to and never question. But today, I don't really understand how anything works. So, Oh, okay. Well, I guess you were never that brilliant then if today all of a sudden you're an idiot. All right. What now? Trump lawyers claim Trump's uniquely powerful voice is central to the American fabric. God, he has no defense. Bro, he has no defense. Like, bro, what? Like, okay. So this is what it said. The Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit. Thursday, Trump attorneys elaborated on many of the same arguments that Chuck and Smack down, and this is what they said. The district court entered a sweeping, viewpoint-based prior restraint on the core political speech of a major presidential candidate based solely on an unconstitutional heckler's veto. The gag order violates the First Amendment rights of President Trump and over 100 million Americans who listen to him. President Trump's uniquely powerful voice has been a fixture of American political discourse for 8 years and central to the American fabric for decades. What? Central to the American fabric for decades. Bro, what has Donald Trump ever done besides rip people off and try his hardest to be a celebrity? Like, what has he ever done other than that? Hassan, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. You said he towed and booted illegally parked trucks in NYC, but the kicker is it's no place to park the trucks, so they are forced to park on the street. After that, I won't go to New York State in a semi. If they facts, it really ain't nowhere to park in New York when it comes to that. I didn't even know about that exactly, but like I said, with Eric Adams, it's just always way too many things to keep up with. You just can't keep up with all of this BS. But thank you again so much for the $20 super chat, and thank you for informing us on yet another distasteful act and distasteful move from Mayor Eric Adams of NYC. Yeah, I really don't see him winning again. But this is hilarious. American fabric for decades. Yeah, this nation wouldn't even be intact if it wasn't for all the shit that Donald Trump has spoken and all the people that he's ripped off. Brother Soul Life came in with the membership and with the super chats. Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all of y'all. The prosecution's claim that his core political speech suddenly poses a threat to the administration of justice is baseless. The prosecutors and potential witnesses addressed by President Trump's speech are high-level government officials and public figures, many of whom routinely attack President Trump in their own public statements, media interviews, and books. President Trump's viewpoint and modes of expression resonate powerfully with tens of millions of Americans. The prosecution's request for a gag order bristles with hostility to President Trump's viewpoint and his relentless criticism of the government, including of the prosecution itself. The gag order embodies this unconstitutional hostility of President Trump's viewpoint. It should be immediately stayed. Donald Trump is so, it's almost as if they tailored this request to please Trump. It's like they tailored the request not for it to work, but so that they could read it to Trump and make him feel good about it. Yes, that's right. I have been very central to the fabric of the United States of America for decades now. Like, just the American people know. They know better. They know. Brother, he can't. This dude cannot win in court. In court, he cannot win. Like that's your only defense, bruh. Are you serious? Bro, this dude is really incredible. He's really something else. Oh shoot, what did I just do? All right, let's see what the Trump boys is talking about when they come outside of the courtroom. What do they have to say? We're gonna find out, because I haven't seen it yet. Insane, pissed off Trump son lets loose outside Trump fraud trial and rant about murderers and potholes. Facts.
Yeah, well, guys, it was a great day. But what this state is trying to do to my father is absolutely insane. We have one of the greatest companies anywhere in the world. We employ thousands of New Yorkers. These people, they make their living relying on us. They feed their families relying on us. We've never missed a note. We've never missed a payment. We've never defaulted on a loan. We've got some of the greatest properties in the world. And because you have an attorney general that plays politics with everything, you've seen that time and time again. She effectively went after the last governor and threw him out of office because she wanted to run, and then she got 2% in the polls. All of you saw that. She's come after my father ruthlessly. Every single day a Trump is in this court, guess what? She shows up. Why? Because it's her press moment. That's what she does. This is the type of person that's running New York State. And at the same time, you have people getting shot in the streets. You had a little kid that got shot in the head in Times Square recently. You have people getting thrown in front of.
These are always such ridiculous, like, bro, there are millions of people in NYC, like millions. I think like 8 or 9 million people or something like that. Just in NYC, like all the boroughs within the boroughs. Like, bro, you know, people commit crimes. Out of the millions of people, there are crimes being committed. That's why someone in as high a profile position as my father should just be let off the hook completely. Okay.
Trains and stations. The city's going to hell, guys. And I hate to say that. I'm a person who left the city because it's going down the tubes. And it breaks my heart because there's no place I love more in the world. She should be an advocate for businesses that pay a lot of taxes and do great things and meet their commitments and pay off their debts. She should be an advocate for that. She should also go out and fight for the little guys as opposed to trying to be an advocate of Deutsche Bank, who literally loves us, who said we have done absolutely nothing wrong and we were great lenders and we've made them hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and every project that we've ever done with them has been a massive success. But she's using a broken system. She's using a rigged system, and it's very, very sad. And I know the truth will come out in the end. We haven't done a single thing wrong. They're trying to disqualify my father for 2024. He's leading in all the polls. And it's sad that this is the United States of America. And right now, make no mistake about it, maybe through your very lenses, the entire world is watching this and they're laughing about what's going on. The entire state of Florida right now, when they value a property like Mar-a-Lago at $18 million, is laughing at New York State and laughing at New York State Attorney General and laughing at, quite frankly, a court system. Guys, we deserve better than this. Let's get the murderers off the street. Let's take care of the crime. Let's rebuild our infrastructure. Everywhere you drive in New York, you hit a pothole and your car gets destroyed. And they're going after a guy who employs thousands of people in this state, employed them through COVID, the deepest, darkest times of this state, runs a great organization, literally puts food on table for thousands of people. And I'm the guy running a company who gets to get the call from these people saying, hey, am I going to get paycheck next week because of the asinine things that I'm reading in the headlines? Even though we never did anything wrong, even though our properties are worth much more than even reported in the statement of financial condition. Guys, this is a political witch hunt. It shouldn't happen in this country. It can't happen the opposite way around. We've got to stop this nonsense. We've got to get back to work.
White-collar crime's okay?
The last couple of days have gone great. You know why they've gone great? Because we haven't done a damn thing wrong. And they dragged.
I've been sitting over here looking up this YouTube live chat replay because I see y'all in the comments talking about it. I'm looking it up how to turn it on because I didn't look into it before a little bit, but I got it pulled up in my tab now. I got it pulled up, so I see y'all, man. I see what you're saying, but yeah, no, I got it pulled up. I'm trying to see what's up with it.
Don and I into it.
He's given this passionate speech. Just let my father off the hook.
It's collateral damage. You know why? Because if you can line up as many Trumps as you possibly can, she can sit in court for an extra couple days, and then she can send fundraising emails every single day to her donor base saying, I'm going after Trump. Remember, guys, this is a person who campaigned on the political promise of I'm going to take Trump down. Her famous statement is, I'm going to go into the office of Attorney General every single day. I'm going to sue Donald Trump, and then I'm going to go home. This is the platform she ran on. She wasn't hiding this, and everybody in the state knows it. And that's why the entire country is laughing at this sham. And guys, it's got to stop. It's not right. It just has to stop. And I see supporters, by the way, back there nodding their head. I appreciate you guys very much. Guys, we're better than this as the United States of America. We've got a lot of real problems. You all know what they are. You report on them every single day. Focus on the real problems as opposed to the people who invest heavily in this state as our family has done for the last 30 years. I love you all. Thank you very much.
You didn't rip people off for the last 30 years. That's all, man. Bro, when you become a public representative of any kind, your personal life and everything that you've ever done just becomes more scrutinized. And it should be. It should be. You're in a position of power, like real political power. You're not just a famous person. You're not just rich. You're not just, you are in a position to pull levers. So, knowing good and damn well that you done spent your whole life ripping people off, conning people, scamming people, being a fraud. You shouldn't have ran for president. You shouldn't have became president. Like, because it's not as if he ever actually wanted the job. He didn't think he was actually going to win. And now the only reason he's running again is because he doesn't want to go to prison. So, it's just all of this is his fault. And I don't see how anyone in their right mind could possibly feel sorry for him. But then again, there's a lot of people who aren't in their right minds. I don't know who this is. I just thought it was silly, so we should look at it. Pro-Trump singer blames Satan after portable charger catches fire on flight. Yes. I just want to see if it's a video.
Don't touch that bag. Don't touch that bag. Your hands are gonna put. You put your hands to burn. You're not touching that bag. We need those gloves. The gloves are in the front. What the hell? Might be good, but we'll just keep it going. Oh my God, where's my stuff? I still see smoke. And your cell phone. Can I say something? That's our bag, though.
Okay, we'll get it out there.
I don't know. Did he On Monday, I faced one of the scariest moments of my life right after falling asleep pre-takeoff. I don't know what does his rest of this say on X? Damn, this dude wrote a book. Oh my God. This dude wrote a whole damn book. Basically, he's saying he got spiritually attacked, but then he rebuked it in the name of Jesus and the demon went away because, God's chosen warrior is Donald Trump, so we gotta protect him at all costs. I guess that's what it is, so there we go. And then he left us with a verse. He said, Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10 through 11. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. Okay, bro. Your laptop caught on fire because technology does that sometimes when things overheat. Right. He just got a cheap. My man's had a cheap charger. Like, oh, Satan. He had a cheap charger. My dude was like, ah. Satan and socialism both start with S. They trying to make government produced cell phone chargers, all of them catching on fire. Satan taking over the government. Right, exactly. They just scheming hard. Let's see. Former Trump State Department appointee sentenced to 70 months in prison after assaulting police officers at U.S. Capitol. It's like 6 years or something like that. Whew, look at my man's. Bro, these people really did all of this for Donald Trump. Like it was just a big field trip. Like they were just having a fun time. Like it was just a great time to them. Like they didn't consider the consequences of this whatsoever. Federico Klein, a former State Department appointee, was found guilty following a bench trial before Judge Trevor McFadden this summer of multiple counts, including assaulting multiple police officers that day. Your actions on January 6th were shocking and egregious, McFadden, also a Trump appointee, said during Friday's sentencing. According to the judge, Klein assaulted an officer during an initial breach on the Capitol grounds, telling the officer, "You can't stop us." McFadden also detailed several other assaults on officers from Klein, many of which occurred in the Lower West Terrace Tunnel, one of the most violent scenes that day. "This is a government of law, not of men," McFadden said, adding that Klein had betrayed your office. Oh, God. There's a lot of people in this in this country that are just crazy. In this crazy that are country. That's what I was about to say. I was about to say there are a lot of people in this crazy that are country. That's how crazy this country is right there. Trump refers to January 6 rioters as hostages at Texas rally. Really now? Is that what they are?
Well, thank you very much. And you know what that was? That was, I call them the J6 hostages, not prisoners. I call them the hostages, what's happened. And it's a shame. And, you know, they did that and they asked me whether or not I would partake and do the beautiful words. And I said, yes, I would. And you saw the spirit. The spirit was incredible. And when that came out, it went to the #1 song. It was beating everybody. It beat Taylor Swift. It beat Miley Cyrus, who was #1 and 2. They were #1 and 2. We knocked them off for a long time. That song was out there for a long time. Then, of course, they had a problem with the internet, right? You know? And so all of a sudden,
when MAGA bands together, there's absolutely nothing that we can't accomplish together. In fact, we can beat Taylor Swift on the charts. You know, I don't know if you've seen the Swifties now. They're with Travis Kelce, you know, promoting the Pfizer shot and the radical left liberals.
they said, oh, there's a problem. We'll have to take it off. And we raised hell. And it went back on. That was up there for a long time. It was a #1 record or song there was for months.
You know, we beat Taylor Swift. We beat the Swifties on the charts. You know, when Donald Trump, anything that Donald Trump does turns into gold. I have the Midas touch. Donald Midas.
He's so much fun, but he's just so dangerous he's so dangerous, right? He's such a problem, but you just can't leave him alone. You just can't stop. Congresswoman informs Marjorie Taylor Greene, Robert E. Lee was not actually one of the founding fathers. Did you? Okay, hold up.
Hey, Madam Chairman, my friend and gentlewoman from Maine may have mentioned that this affects all monuments. In fact, it does not. As a former secretary, monuments are under the Antiquities Act. There's about 163, as I recall. This only pertains to monuments that commemorate the founding fathers of the United States on land under the jurisdiction. I don't recall how many monuments are to the founding fathers, but there's not many. I don't recall any being a safety issue. Matter of fact, I recall all of them being a part of our history and an important part of our history for all to learn. So this does not affect all monuments, nor the safety. What it affects is the very essence of the country. I support this amendment.
From Maine.
Thank you. I appreciate the thoughts of the former Secretary of Interior, and I thank you for your service. But I want to be clear. Let me read this back to you. There may have been an earlier version of this, but this one says, none of the funds made available by this act may be used to remove any monument on land under the jurisdiction of the Department of Interior. I reserve.
From Georgia has 1 minute remaining.
Madam Speaker, thank you. Actually, there should be no funds allocated to remove any monument, and there's no necessary reason to remove the monuments. This is the Democrat and the Biden administration's effort to erase our history, just as they have done to the statue of Robert E. Lee. This is an outrage. This is exactly what they do in communist countries. And the Democrats want to accuse us of book burning while we try to get pornography books out of our children's schools. The Democrats will do nothing to stop their attempts to destroy our nation's history, and we must protect it. I urge my colleagues to vote for my amendment, and I urge its passage. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I yield.
The gentlewoman from Georgia yields. The gentlewoman from Maine.
So just to clear up a couple of things, my colleague mentioned the founding fathers. Robert E. Lee was not actually one of the founding fathers. He was a general of the Confederacy. That was the city of Charlottesville. That wasn't a national monument that when that statue was removed. And I just have to say,
My man's Donald, thank you so much for joining us once again. Thank you for being a member for 1 month. And thank you for everything that all of y'all do, man. Let's keep it trucking forward. You know, life is difficult. We go through our struggles and things is hard, but it's things like this to keep me going. I'm telling you, man, I be going through it. So thank you so much for everything that all of you do.
I find it rich that the party that has supported book banning in our libraries, rewriting curriculum, not talking about our history over and over again, is the very one that is saying that we have to often keep painful monuments in places where they do damage, where they interfere with people's ability to enjoy the particular area that they're in, and leave it to the Department of Interior to have that discretion. So if we're going to get into talking about book banning and rewriting history, let's have an honest debate about it and talk about the differences between our two parties on this. I oppose this amendment, and I yield back.
Gentleman from Maine yields. The question is on the amendment offered by the gentlewoman from Georgia. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes
Request a
have it.
recorded vote, Madam Chair.
Pursuant to Clause 6, Rule 18, further proceedings on the amendment offered by the gentlewoman from Georgia will be postponed.
Bruh. It's Friday, so it's not a whole ton of stuff to go over. We got one more little thing right now. I'm a little, you know what I'm saying? I wonder what y'all think about it, you know, because most of us are coffee drinkers. Some of us more than others. Some of us like to partake in coffee more than others. You know, personally, I like coffee. I have at least 1 cup a day. But you know, I like my speed. You feel me? Especially when I got work to do, especially when I got things that I got to get done. Now, speaking of that, new research, and this again, the best website ever. Typically, when we come to Chip Chick, we're like reading people's like egregious personal business. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like really personal stories that people don't need to know, but you kind of have to. So now we're looking at some new research that suggests that regularly drinking coffee or tea during middle age could lessen the risk of physical frailty as you get older. Now let's see exactly how they come up with this because this seems yep, it is Chip Chick time. That is exactly what time it is, Chip Chick time. Sipping on tea or coffee once you hit middle age might give you a leg up in dodging frailty as you get older, according to a recent study led by scientists from the National University of Singapore. Quote, coffee and tea are mainstay beverages in many societies around the world. Our studies show the consumption of these caffeinated drinks at midlife may be associated with a reduced likelihood of physical frailty. Well, let's see how they did it. However, further studies are still needed to confirm these longitudinal associations and to investigate if these effects on physical frailty are mediated by caffeine or other chemical compounds. The research, they did 12,000 individuals aged 45 to 74 over a 20-year period. Yeah, we're going to have to look more into this study. People who drank 4 cups of coffee each day reap the most notable 4. That's a lot of coffee a day for me. I could do maybe 2 cups, but I get too dehydrated if I drink that much coffee. You start drinking that, yeah, well, for me at least, I get too dehydrated. But habitual black and green tea drinkers weren't left out, also enjoying some benefits. The researchers conducted a first round of interviews when the participants were on average 53 years old. During these interviews, participants were asked about their consumption of beverages rich in caffeine, including coffee, tea, and sodas, and even certain foods such as chocolate. Then, about 2 decades later, the individuals were interviewed again, this time focusing on things like their weight and energy levels. They also participated in evaluations that gauged hand grip strength and assessed how long it took them to finish a timed up and go, a tug test, whatever that is. The study defined frailty through a mix of factors, including weight reduction, fatigue, physical weakness, and slowness. Among the participants, coffee was a big player, making up 84% overall for the caffeine intake. Tea, 12%. A hefty 68.5% of participants were daily coffee drinkers, with most settling for a single cup a day. Interesting. Interesting. There you go, Mara. You've been searching for confirmation bias, and we have found it. You've been looking for answers. You know what I'm saying? Like, am I drinking too much coffee? No, I'm not drinking too much coffee. There you go. So look, there we go. There we go. We learn something new every day. But yeah, the history of coffee is pretty interesting. But yeah, like I said, it's Friday, so a whole lot of the stuff is just the same old, or it's just completely non-related. Tomorrow we're gonna be having our nerd news at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. and we're gonna be doing trailer reviews. We're gonna talk about cool stuff, and we're gonna watch cartoons again. We're gonna watch cartoons again. But yeah, no, I drink typically like one to two, um, 1 to 2 cups of coffee a day. It depends. If I don't have as much weed with me, then I'll smoke more. Uh, the Biden campaign. I'm not gonna pull this up. I'll just read it. President Joe Biden's campaign manager last weekend sent a memo in which she acknowledged that 2024 will be a very close race. The memo outlines Biden's 2024 campaign strategy. I personally don't think that whatever their campaign strategy is, they're going to change it multiple times. More likely than not, because that's usually what happens. She says, um, relying on the same message as 2020, protecting democracy and the soul of the nation, making the economy work for the middle class, fighting for more rights, not fewer. I mean, none of this is a surprise. We already knew this. He's not gonna really do much because Biden's basically running against himself, and Donald Trump is dealing with all of his legal problems. So yes, no, that's not surprising at all. But that we'll see what their strategy actually is, because that's not really a strategy. That's just kind of simply acknowledging, well, it's basically the same stuff as in 2020, but now we got the stuff going on in Israel, Gaza. There's a lot of stuff going on that he's going to have to address. Biden is um, uh, bleeding support, especially from Muslim Americans in swing states that he's going to need. So he's going to need to address this issue. We'll see what he does. We will see what he does. Fritz got a dance competition tomorrow. Hope that goes well. Hope that's a good time. I think that you're going to do pretty well. Now, let's go ahead and bring it to a close. Bring it to a close. But yeah, no, if I drink more than 2 cups, like I just get dehydrated and I don't feel that good. I don't feel that good when I drink too much coffee. But hey, look, sometimes you gotta suffer to get some benefits. So hey, they said people who drank like 4 cups of coffee a day saw the most benefits. So, I guess I got a long way to go. But at the same time, I take Ritalin pretty much every day. So that's a bit stronger than caffeine. Now, thank you to all of y'all, man. I really do appreciate you, man. I really do. I really do. Because shit be hard. I be going through it. And y'all believe in me, and that means a lot. And because y'all believe in me and because y'all support me, I have to succeed. You understand what I'm saying? I must succeed. And so I will. And so we will together. Let's do it. All right. Woo! That was quite significant. Thank you, everybody. Join me tomorrow for another episode of Nerd News. And y'all have a good weekend, man. Let's have a good weekend. I'll send out a newsletter either Sunday night or Monday morning, one of the two. Probably Sunday. I'll send out a newsletter updating everybody on how much things are going to cost, what we're going to do, how things are going to function, and so forth. Now, y'all have a good weekend, and I will see you tomorrow.